I was sent to the basement. My director called it punishment and moved me below after a setup to humiliate me in front of the team. "You'll rot down here," he laughed. I was isolated, mocked, and ignored until the CEO looked at my work and whispered something. Then everything changed. "You'll work down here, Tessa, until you learn to keep your mouth shut." Behind him, half the product team, people I'd worked alongside for 6 years, snickered like high school bullies. Jonah's high-pitched laugh was the worst. Liv, who once called me her work wife, covered her mouth, but her eyes were full of glee. "There's no ventilation," I said, trying to sound calm. "There's a fan," Rick pointed at a tiny desk fan with 2 broken blades. "Count yourself lucky. You should have been fired after that little stunt at the product meeting." The stunt he was talking about. Me asking why the emergency shutoff on the new Dialinx portable dialysis unit had been moved to the back panel, out of reach for most patients. Especially those with mobility issues. Especially patients like me. Bianca, the lead industrial designer, stepped forward, her gold earrings flashing. "Your feedback would have meant retooling the whole design. You think hospitals are gonna pay for that?" I opened my mouth, and this time I didn't hold back. "Better question, how much does it cost when someone dies because they can't reach the damn button?" The hallway went silent. Rick's face twitched. And that's when I knew I was done. At least as far as they were concerned. I was buried alive in that basement for 2 weeks. No system access. No client calls. Nothing but the sound of pipes groaning and the janitor named Danny who brought me coffee out of pity. For 6 years, I'd flown cross-country to train nurses, helped solve hardware bugs no one else could crack, and built trust with skeptical hospital systems. I wasn't an engineer, I was a survivor. A former dialysis patient. 3 years of my life were spent tethered to machines. I knew what it meant when something went wrong during treatment. So yeah, I spoke up. And they buried me. But here's where it gets interesting. They forgot to revoke my personal email access. On day 14, I got a message from Serena Vargas. She runs the biggest renal failure support group on the East Coast. "Is it true the new Dialinx has the shutoff on the back? Half my members can't even reach that." I was typing a careful reply when someone knocked. I looked up. Standing in the doorway was Graham Devlin, the company's CEO. I'd spoken to him twice in 6 years. His eyes flicked to my screen. He read my message thread with Serena without saying a word. Behind him was Rick, ghost pale. Graham leaned in, whispered something to Rick. Then they walked out. 10 minutes later, my dead phone lit up. And didn't stop. By noon, I had 170 unread messages. You know what to do if you're with me so far? Hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Have you ever been punished for being right? I read every single one. And trust me, things were just getting started. By 8 a.m. the next morning, I was sitting in the boardroom, across from the same man who'd let me rot in a basement for 2 weeks. Graham Devlin, CEO, visionary, silent enabler of everything Rick had done to me. Also in the room, 3 new faces. Suits. One of them, a woman with icy gray hair and the posture of a sniper, introduced herself as Camille Hart, legal counsel. The other 2 were board members I'd only seen in quarterly town halls. Rick sat alone at the far end, his $500 haircut messier than I'd ever seen it. His eyes darted like a cornered animal. "Tessa," Graham began. "Do you know why you're here? I assume it's about my emails with advocacy groups." "That's part of it," Camille cut in. "We've reviewed all your communications. You didn't share confidential information. You confirmed patient concerns that our clients already had. That's not misconduct." Rick leaned forward. "She bypassed protocol. She went rogue." "Protocol," Camille said flatly, "failed to catch a potentially fatal design flaw." Then she turned to me. "Northbridge Health, our biggest client, sent a termination notice yesterday. 3,000 units canceled. $92 million gone. Their letter included your name and stated you were the only employee who treated their concerns seriously." Rick flinched. Graham slid a printed email across the table. "From Serena Vargas, says she's initiating a petition against the redesign. Hundreds of patients have already signed." I looked down at my hands. They weren't shaking. Not anymore. Then Camille said something that changed everything. "The board is offering you a new role, head of our newly created Safety and Accessibility Division, reporting directly to Graham." I stared at her. "I'm in customer success. I don't have design authority." You do now, Rick's voice cracked. This is insane, she doesn't even. Sit down, Rick, Graham snapped. And for the first time, Rick obeyed without pushing back. By noon, I was escorted to a glass-walled office on the executive floor. They'd already moved my stuff from the basement. Even the ratty fan was there, like a trophy. My email was reinstated. My calendar filled instantly. Teams pinged me nonstop. Nolan from product design appeared at my door. You were right, he said, red-faced. I'm sorry for not backing you up in that meeting. I didn't say anything, just nodded and pointed at the whiteboard behind me. You in? We're fixing this, for real. He nodded. Tell me what to do. Within 48 hours, I had a hand-picked team. 2 engineers who had quietly raised similar concerns and gotten sidelined, a usability expert Rick had labeled too cautious, and a project manager who used to be a home dialysis nurse. We tore the Dialinks design apart. Page by page, screw by screw, the emergency shutoff, moved front and center, bright red, no twisting needed. The touchscreen interface, replaced with tactile buttons that worked with medical gloves. The battery backup, reinstalled at double capacity. By the end of the week, we had a safer, smarter version of the device, ready for review. And then came the announcement: Rick and Bianca were out, suspended pending investigation. Security escorted them from the building. I didn't watch, I didn't have to, but what I didn't know, Rick wasn't finished, and his next move would make my exile look like a coffee break. 3 weeks later, things finally felt steady. The updated Dialinks was already getting glowing feedback from hospital testers. Serena's group held a virtual town hall to praise the new design. Patients, real people, were thanking me. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was screaming into the void. Then came the first resignation. Tara from engineering, no notice, just a brief email about a new opportunity. The next day, Brett from sales. Then Lane from QA. In 2 weeks, 7 people were gone, all top talent. Graham called me into his office. They're all going to the same place, he said, not even trying to hide his frustration. A startup. Vital Core Technologies, I blinked. Please tell me Rick isn't. He is, new CEO, he got funding, fast. I felt my chest tighten. He's marketing Vital Core as the future of medical design, Graham continued. Minimalist, user-focused, sleek, but with no compromise on safety. Sound familiar? Too familiar, I muttered. He's claiming he was the one who fought for the safer Dialinks design, that you cut him out and took credit. My blood went cold. He's also saying our new device is bloated, over-engineered, claims it's stuck in the past. I paced. How many hospitals have heard from him? 9, Graham said, and he personally visited Northbridge. Without Serena, she's on sabbatical. Dr. Langston is handling procurement. That's when I knew we were in real trouble. Rick had taken our blueprint, distorted it, and packaged it with shiny lies. Worse, he was gaining traction. And then it got uglier. I got an email from Zoe Patel, a patient advocate I trusted like family. Rick from Vital Core contacted me, wants me to endorse his new device, said your version is overly complex, that you're exaggerating safety concerns. I called her instantly. He's lying, I said. Please don't. I didn't agree to anything, she interrupted. But he's reaching out to everyone, offering free trials, advisory roles, honorariums. Buying influence, I whispered. Exactly. And people are listening. For a week, I didn't sleep. I hosted patient webinars. I met with nervous hospital buyers. I wrote side-by-side comparisons, detailed spec breakdowns. I walked people through why Rick's version was dangerous. And still, hospitals hesitated. Vital Core's prototype, now called PulseFlow, was thinner, lighter, and promised faster treatment cycles. But one night, 4 days before Northbridge's final decision, I got a call. Unknown number. 1:18 a.m. I answered groggily. Is this Tessa Rowe? Yes, who's calling? My name's Delaney Quinn. I'm Rick's executive assistant at Vital Core. He doesn't know I'm calling. I sat up instantly. What is this about? The PulseFlow prototype, it failed safety testing. Catastrophically. During a simulated failure, the emergency protocol didn't engage. It would have killed a patient. My blood froze. Are they delaying launch? No, he told us to bury the report. He says we're doing cosmetic changes to bypass another round of testing. I gripped my phone tighter. Do you have proof? I do. I'll email it anonymously. But I need your word, protect me. My mom is on dialysis. I can't let this happen. I promise, I said. Delaney, you're doing the right thing. 10 minutes later, the documents hit my inbox. Internal memos, safety test logs, emails from Rick ordering engineers to ignore critical data and focus on market-ready messaging. I sent it all to Graham. Then I picked up the phone and called Alexandra Hayes, CEO of Northbridge, freshly back from sabbatical. Sorry to call so early, I said, but we need to meet. Before Rick gets in your conference room. She agreed to meet me at 7 a.m. sharp, and I was ready. At 8:57 a.m., Alexandra led me into the Northbridge boardroom. Rick was already inside, laying out glossy brochures. His face turned white when he saw me. I wasn't told she'd be here, he said flatly. Plans changed, Alexandra replied. Please continue your pitch. Rick powered through a rehearsed presentation full of hollow buzzwords. He painted himself as the hero who fought for patient safety, but was forced to leave because of internal politics. He even displayed a timeline with my name listed as the person who repeatedly resisted redesign improvements. When he finished, Alexandra looked at me. Your turn. I stood and connected my laptop. My opening slide. Fix it in V2.0. Rick jumped up. This is a setup, you hacked us. Alexandra turned to him. Is any of this false? It's taken out of context, he barked. And the part where you told your team to fake safety results? Silence. I think we've heard enough, Alexandra said. Northbridge is out, and we'll be notifying the FDA. Rick lunged toward the screen, then stopped himself. You're gonna regret this, Tessa, he hissed. I met his eyes. This isn't revenge, it's the truth. Vital Core crumbled in just under 3 weeks. It started with whispers, anonymous engineers leaking test data to regulatory bodies. Then a letter, signed by 8 major hospital systems, blacklisting PulseFlow until a full safety audit could be completed. Investors panicked. Funding dried up. Media outlets caught wind of the cover-up. Headlines hit every major medical journal and tech blog. Whistleblower reveals fatal flaws in Vital Core's flagship device. CEO Rick Callahan under investigation for medical device fraud. And just like that, Rick became a cautionary tale. Meanwhile, I found myself on a stage in Chicago at the National Medical Device Safety Conference, accepting an award for our reimagined Dialink system. The audience was packed with doctors, designers, engineers, patients. And in the back row, Delaney Quinn. She gave me a small nod. Her mother had been moved to a facility that now used Dialinks exclusively. She was doing well, but as I stood at that podium, something in me felt unsettled, because Rick wasn't done. The warning came from a guy named Ellis Keene, former cybersecurity contractor, now head of risk at our company. He pulled me into a quiet meeting room. We found something, he said. Rick's been running burner accounts, messaging patients, influencers, even journalists, creating fake posts accusing you of profiting off redesign changes. I sat back, stunned. He's fabricating stories. Says you pushed for expensive features to make hospitals pay more, that you manipulated safety data to destroy his company. Do people believe it? Some do, Ellis said. He's sowing doubt. And he's targeting you personally now. He slid me a printout, an online forum thread with my face on it. Meet the woman who got rich by scaring sick people. It had thousands of views. I'll handle it, I said, voice steady. But not online, not with comments. I want the truth out, all of it. 2 days later, I scheduled an emergency all-hands town hall at our headquarters in Indianapolis. I invited press, advocacy groups, even our competitors. Standing on that stage, I told the full story. From the moment I was shoved into a basement, to the failed PulseFlow test results, to Rick's final smear campaign. I displayed every email, every memo, every safety stat. And then I showed something new, patient testimonials. Real people using Dialinks 2.0, elderly patients who could finally reach the shutoff without assistance, nurses crying because setup time had been cut in half, a teen girl doing her treatment at home for the first time. I ended with one simple sentence. Sometimes revenge isn't about ruining someone else. It's about building something they can never tear down. Rick was arrested 3 days later. Wire fraud, falsified testing, attempted corporate sabotage. Turns out Delaney wasn't the only whistleblower. 3 more employees came forward during the investigation. They'd recorded meetings, Emails, everything. The FDA banned him from working in medical manufacturing. Ever again. As for me, I was promoted again, this time to Chief of User Advocacy and Safety Innovation, a new role with real weight behind it. My team grew to 30, then 50, and at the next board meeting, Graham turned to me and said, "You saved more than just this company. You changed how we do business." Maya, the colleague who once laughed behind Rick, stopped me in the hallway last week. She looked nervous. "Tessa, I just wanted to say I was wrong. I should have spoken up sooner." "We all should have," I nodded. "Next time, don't wait for someone else to go first. If you've ever been silenced for doing the right thing, know this: you're not crazy, you're not difficult, you're just ahead of everyone else's courage. And when you come out the other side, people like Rick, they won't matter, because you'll be too busy building something real." If this story hit home, hit that like button and subscribe for more true revenge stories that go deeper than drama. They strike at power. Drop a comment. Have you ever had to risk it all for what was right? I read every single one, and your story might just inspire the next person stuck in a metaphorical basement. Let's keep the truth louder than the lies.